Hello, everybody. It is Lynn, the Go Live Granny, and now I've got to see if I can. Oh, let's see if I can do the. Whoops! Excellent. Wait a minute. I'm just trying to find. Um, oh, let's just do this. Can I do that? Let's see. Um, so, folks, I am Lynn, the Go Live Granny, and I'm live streaming here on Sunday evening, the 11th of May 2025. If you're coming in on the live, a big welcome. And hang on, I better go back to the comments. And if you're coming in, um, on the replay, afterwards, then put replay in the comments, and I will be able to see that you've been in the replay, and I will be able to interact with you afterwards, which will be really lovely. So there we are. Look, it says, remember, sharing is caring. Tag a friend in the comments, invite them in, and share the broadcast. Sharing is caring, one of my favorite phrases. So let's have a look. Oh my goodness, it's put that stupid referral link on again. When I was setting up the broadcast, it said don't show the referral link, and it's on my screen. It's hiding your comments. It's really stupid. Wait a minute, let's go back and see who's in the house. So I know Steve is in the house. He was in the house before I was in the house. Steve, wait a minute. Hang on. Let's see if I can take that banner off now, because it's in my way. I don't want it on there anymore. Let's take that away. Okay. So, and let's go back to the comments. There we go. So these glasses, these are new glasses. So, whoops, hang on. Wait a minute. Let's go. Oh dear. I really need to sort out why I can't get this in. It's in portrait mode. I don't know why the phone won't go into landscape, and I've really got to find out, because it would be so much easier for me. So anyway, Steve was saying hello, and I said he was missed, very much missed. But Steve has been catching up with the shenanigans. He might not have been in the broadcast last week, but he was catching up on the shenanigans. There you are, he says. Loving my glasses. Hello, Debs. Nice to see you in too. Right. Okay. And Steve said he's got his own key to the door of the house. That's why he got in early. Well, it's been a very busy week in the life of the Go Live Granny. In fact, I've been out and about so much. I think when I finish the broadcast tonight, I'd probably go and lay on my bed and sleep all the way through till morning, or late morning, I think, because I'm quite tired. Hello, Alexander. Nice to see you coming in here from the Isle of Wight. Steve, I've forgotten where you are. Tracy. Oh, Tracy, you're still awake. Tracy's coming in. Now, Tracy, whoops, hang on. Oh, wait a minute. Does it? Right. There we are. Look, Tracy's saying hello. They've changed the way this does everything, and it's confusing me, because I used to just touch the comment and it popped up. Now it brings the comment up and then it says put it on stage, hide it from the stage. Oh, it's confusing me. But anyway, so let's see. Alexandra came in. She's coming in on YouTube, so you'll be able to see that Steve is saying hello to you. I'm gonna try and do these comments if I can. So that's it. Oh, it's a bit difficult, but anyway. Hi, Sam. Sam coming in on Facebook. Alexandra saying hello to Steve. I do like it when my community chat with each other. So Alexandra's here on the Isle of Wight. Tracy's here on the Isle of Wight. I'm not quite sure. Sam, where are you? And Steve, remind me where you are, Steve. You did tell me, and I've forgotten. But Steve is the window cleaner in the house. I need my windows clean, but it's a shame you're not on the island. I've got some dormer windows that I need. There's a dormer window here. Can you see the corner of it here? And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dormer windows in my flat, and they need cleaning, and I don't climb up to do them. But since you're not in the house, I will have to use my time bank hours and see if somebody from the time bank will clean my windows, and then I will do some things for the time bank. So let's just, I'll read the comments out rather than try and keep posting them all up. So Debs is coming in from Cambridgeshire. Debs and I know we have met personally through my son. Tracy says she's still awake. Now Tracy has done Walk the White today. So those of you watching my social media today will have known that I was watching Walk the White. I didn't walk the white. There was no way I was walking the white. So I got the bus this morning. So I left home at 8:30, and I had about 12 minutes, no, 11 minutes, I think, from leaving home. And it's an 8-minute walk if I walk fast to catch the bus. And I was a bit tight on, I wasn't sure. I thought if it comes early, I'm going to miss it. And the that early bus goes into Newport, and it connects in Newport with the number 12. So the number 9 is a regular bus, goes quite regularly into Newport, but the number 12 goes from Newport out to Freshwater, and it's sort of like every 2 hours or something like that. So I didn't want to miss the early bus, or perhaps it was every hour and a half or something like that. I didn't want to miss the early one by a minute or so, but I managed to mosey on down fairly quickly, and going to the bus stop I go to is downhill. when I go into Ryde, I go to a different bus stop because it's on the flat. But when I go to Newport, I go down the hill to the bus stop that's down the hill. So that, that's a better bet for me. So I'm glad to see you're still awake, Tracy. How sore are your feet and your legs? And there's a funny story. Tracy and we managed to miss each other today. I went over to Freshwater because I wanted to have soak up the atmosphere. A lot of the walks come through Freshwater. So there's a 26-mile walk, and then there's like different walk. There's Carisbrook to Freshwater. The 26-mile walk comes all the way through to Freshwater and Allen Bay. I went to see the start of the school walk, which is a 5-mile walk. And these people are walking to raise funds for our Mountbatten Hospice, which is a wonderful hospice, gives absolutely brilliant end-of-life care for our cancer patients. And it's just a wonderful, bright, such a lovely place. No, it's not doom and gloom. It's it's a bright place. I've been there. I've been to the cafe there, and it's all nice and bright. And they give excellent end of life care there. And Tracy was walking in memory. Tracy and her family were walking in memory of their dear friend Nikki, who set up the Kessie Kindness charity, and Mark, I believe, was somebody that Seb knows. I'm a bit confused, sorry, as to who the other one was, but I knew Nikki. I'd met Nikki just once or twice, but she was brilliant. She herself set up a charity in the memory of her daughter who passed way too soon, and then very sadly she lost her own life. But in the memory, lots of good things happen, and that's what we have to more focus on, rather than I know it's very sad, but out of bad can come good. And there was lots of good going on there today. And I think they said about 9,000 people were walking today. And that is this, I think it's the hospice, I think is the hospice 35 years old? No, the hospice is older than that. Is the walk, Tracy, is the Walk the White 35 years old? I know it's been going a long time. Right, let's, so Sam's saying he got emotional tonight about Chris and Diane. I don't know what's going on about Chris and Diane. I don't know that, so I can't comment on that. Let's have a look. You did your windows. Steve did his windows a couple of weeks ago. They were discussing. Isn't that funny though? Builders never do their own homes. Window cleaners probably are the last. Their own windows are the last ones to clean by the sounds of it. So Tracy says she's okay. Actually, she's still buzzing on the adrenaline and brilliant atmosphere today. It was amazing. It was the most beautiful day here on the Isle of Wight. The sky was blue. It was a bit blowy up at we were at Freshwater Bay, and since I had pneumonia, I tend to feel the cold. So I took my coat with me. It was in my Navy Nora in my trolley. But I did end up putting it on because there was a bit of a breeze. I kept losing my hat. My hat kept flying away in the wind. And at one point, somebody went and rescued it for me. It didn't end up in the water, fortunately. Right, so... Oh, Alexandra's just telling me, have I heard the song Mike Christie wrote for Walk the White? He's from G4. Yes, I have heard it and I've forgotten all about it, Alexandra. It's on YouTube, isn't it? If anybody could drop the link in. If anybody could drop the link in for the YouTube for the song for Walk the White, that would be great. So let's have a look. Wait a minute. So let me just make sure I'm not missing the you hadn't done your windows in ages. Oh, Steve. Anyway, Tracy's saying it was Nikki and Seb's. It was Nikki who was Tracy's friend, and Seb's Tracy's son. Seb's boss's dad, Bob. That's it. Sorry, and I thought there was a mic in it somewhere. One of the Go Live Granny community was congratulating Tracy and Tasha and Mark, and I don't know where the Mark came from, and I thought that might have, I got confused. Anyway, please forgive me. They passed away after a short stay at the hospice within 2 days of each other in December. Oh, but you know what you've done today is amazing, Tracy. What you and Seb and Tasha have done, the three of you walking, and then the amazing I think somebody said there were about 9,000 people walking. It was amazing, and you know I've never been to watch it before, and I've certainly never been over to freshwater. And when you're standing in freshwater, you can look one way and people are coming towards freshwater, and they come over the downs and then they come down and you see them snaking, and it's like little ants. It's like, you know, when there's a pile of ants all going in a long line. It was like that, and they snake down and then they come through Freshwater Bay and then they go up. And that's Tennyson Down, isn't it? That bit that you went up, Tracy. And it was just amazing. The atmosphere was marvellous. Everybody was nice and in jovial mood. Some of them looking a bit achy and creaky, you know, but they're all doing it for fantastic cause. So that's amazing. I'm going to just drop a banner in here. I don't know whether this will work, but let's have a look. And I just put it in for a minute, if I can. Hang on. So this banner along the bottom is the link if anyone wants to donate to the hospice for Tracy's fundraising. So all the money, everybody was raising for the hospice, all in memory of their own people. And but that's actually the link to Tracy's fundraising page. Tracy, can you actually drop it into the comments, because people might be able to easier copy it from there. If anybody does want to donate, even if it's just, you know, £1, a couple of pounds, you know, not everybody can do anything, and we're not expecting anybody, but anybody would like to do it, and you want the link, if you can't get it from the ticker bar at the bottom there, I can make sure that you get it. So anyway, I'm gonna, oh wait a minute, can I, hang on, let's go back to the comment. I'll leave it on the bottom there. Sam is saying his friend Joan Partridge says hi. Hello, Sam. Hello, Joan. Sorry. All right. Okay. That's it. I do get confused. Tracy is telling me that her son Seb's boss is Mark, and it was Mark's dad who was in the hospice. I'm sorry, I do get very confused very easily, but we've sorted it out now, I believe. So that's good. Right, let's have a look. So I missed it. That's it. Okay. Tracy's saying Walk the White is 35 years old, and I don't know how old the hospice is. I know. Oh, I don't know. I'm not even going to try and guess. But it's just marvellous. And the CEO of the hospice is standing down this year. He's done a marvellous job. Nigel done it, and it is Nigel, isn't it? Oh, do you know, I say these things and then I forget. Yes, it is. I'm sure it is. Oh, Sam is telling me that Chris and Diane, who were on Strictly Come Dancing in the UK, they've had a BAFTA for their waltz for Strictly Come Dancing. That's amazing. No wonder you're emotional, Sam. That is that's amazing. And Tracy's saying, yes, it was Tennyson Down that they were up. But it's just amazing because they're just like a whole file. That's, imagine thousands of people doing the walk, and most of them come, a lot of them come, down one way and up the other way. The children's walk didn't. The school walk was 4 miles. So the people doing the longer walk were coming down this way and then going up this way, and the children's walk started here. So that's where where I went to. I got the bus here, and then I just walked up to watch they were doing the warm ups, and they had some entertainment going up there, and I think children were having face painting done, or painting on their arms and things. I saw something in the distance. I think that's what it was. I didn't go too. I tell you why I didn't get there too near, because that bit was all on uneven terrain. And of course, I struggle to walk at the best of well, I'm okay on the flat ground, but it wasn't flat. And also to get to they had some toilets. Too much information, I know. They had some portable toilets, and so I went over to those. What I didn't realise was if I'd gone down the path and stayed on the path down at the bottom and near the bus stop, there were actually some other toilets. But I struggled over this very uneven terrain to get to the loo, but never mind. It all came out in the wash. So there we go. Right, so wait a minute, let's have a look. Debs is saying, sorry, I'm in silent and I'm lip reading while family are here. Oh, right, okay. I'll tell you what, yesterday I was at the Riverfest, and when I was at the Riverfest, I was doing some live streaming. And then when I'd done the live stream, it said, do you want to make it into a reel? So I made them into reels, and then you were all telling me, those of you watching them said you couldn't hear me because it cut the sounds out. So today I didn't try making the reels because I thought there's no point if you can't hear what I'm saying. So I gave up. I gave up on that. Anyway, do you like my hat? And do you like my glasses? I hope you do. And if not, too bad. Tracy's saying she heard a man say on video today for Walk the White, and he reckons there are about 560,000 from today. Do you mean the money? Do you mean £560,000? Or what did you mean? So I'm not sure. I think that's perhaps what you mean. Hospice opened in 1982. So how many years is that? 82, 92, 100. Oh, somebody do the maths for me. My brain is not working. I should be able to do that math, shouldn't I? But I'm just not able to. If anybody could share the links to some of our other people, please do. Yes, raised about £560,000. That will be amazing. I don't know. Do you know, Tracy? Do you know the figures of how much it costs to keep our hospice open? Years ago, I knew what the figure was, but I don't know now how much it costs to keep the hospice open. But there's no way that we can let the hospice ever close. We've got another charity under threat of closing. We've got St John's Club on the Isle of Wight, and for years and years and years they have been supporting people with learning difficulties, and now it's under threat of closure. I think John, who set it up, hasn't been very well, and life is difficult, but I know that various people are working to see what we can do to keep John's Club open. So we have some amazing charities on the island. So much money raised for so many of these things by our wonderful community. And I expect it's the same where a lot of you are elsewhere in the country. But so anyway, let's have a look. Tina's worked it out. 43 years. Is that right? 43 years. Thank you. Long time anyway. I knew it was a long time. I've been connected. I did some fundraising years ago for the hospice. I try to do lots of fundraising for whatever charities I can manage. I try to share the love. So let's have a look. Steve is saying he's got the VE Day concert on from Thursday in the background. Oh, that was amazing. Do you mean the concert that was on in the evening? On Thursday, my Thursday was sitting, watching. So it was Thursday, wasn't it? VE Day, the 8th. And I sat and chilled and watched just really enjoyed all the VE Day, the celebrations in the morning, and then the concert in the evening. I think I popped out. Did I pop out in the? I can't remember what happened in the rest of the day. I know it's been such a busy week. So, of course, it was Walk the White and all that wonderful splendour today. So, Walk the White actually has finished off a brilliant week for me. Um, I feel like I used to feel before I got ill. And I was always out buzzing in the community and networking and doing all sorts of things. And then, of course, we had COVID, and then I was ill, then I was recovering. And I was better. I thought I was better, but it wasn't really until about this week, last week and this week, that I really started buzzing like I used to, and back out in the community and networking and doing all those wonderful things. And I've got a bit of the bit between my teeth to sort of make connections in the community. Um, so you're drawing a portrait as well and listening in here. You're multitasking. I didn't know men could multitask. Oh, how rude of me. Sorry, I take it back. I'm very naughty, aren't I? So let's have a look. So Tracy says, here we. Oh, wait a minute, hang on. Tina's in hospital watching. Oh, Tina, no. Are you on the mend? Have you had an operation, or are you just poorly and you've been poorly? Oh dear, let's all send some love to Tina. Tina, they're in hospital, but I'm glad that you can tune in, that we can cheer you up. If we'll try and cheer you up. Tracy says it costs Mountbatten Hospice over 10.5 million. I knew it was in the millions. 10.5 million each year to keep its services running. A large portion of this funding comes from the community and volunteers. Mountbatten Hospice provides care for over 2,300 individuals on any given day, with a significant number having conditions other than cancer. Thank you, Tracy, for doing the research. I do love it when my community come up with all the answers. It's like having a personal secretary. Thank you, because I would struggle. I used to be able to do things on here and then put links in and do all that as well. I don't think it's just me getting older and forgetting how to do it. I think they keep changing things and they make it more difficult for me to keep up with it. But I'm trying. I'm doing my best. So wait a minute. Hang on. So let's hang on. Let's have a look. So Tracy's done that. Steve saying he's watched it all, the flyovers and everything. So he's talking about the VE celebrations. We do these things well in this country, don't we? It's amazing how many wonderful celebrations I've watched over the years. We had the coronation, that was 2 years ago, wasn't it? Then we had the Queen's Platinum Jubilee before that. I had all red, white and blue stuff. And you know what? I don't know where it all is. It's all in the cupboard somewhere. And I did a silly thing on Thursday. I stood on my sofa. It was not a very bright idea. I stood on my sofa. So shenanigans. Yes, I've had shenanigans this week. I stood on my sofa because on the top of my cupboard, I had a nice heart-shaped wreath. And I decorated it red, white and blue for VE Day. I think it was 75 years of VE. The middle bit's gone, so I couldn't remember how many years, but I think it was 75, the 75 celebrations for VE Day. And I thought, I'll get it down and I'll just put the 80 on it and I'll hang it on my balcony. Easier said than done, because I didn't have shoes on because I was standing on my sofa. And I don't have carpet on my floor. And as I got it down, my foot slipped off the front of the sofa. So I was facing up like that, and I slipped. I didn't hurt myself. Don't panic. I didn't. I did a sort of a sort of not very elegant slip off the edge of the sofa, and landed on the floor. Fortunately, there wasn't anything in the way, so I didn't hurt myself. But it then took me about 15 or 20 minutes to get up off the floor. Because I tried. So I hadn't got shoes on. My shoes were elsewhere. And I tried standing to get up. My knees are not very good. So I couldn't roll onto my knees because that was going to hurt. so I wasn't going to hurt my knees. So I thought, right, how am I going to do this? And I sat there pondering for a little while, and I tried to pull myself up on the sofa, but it wasn't easy because I couldn't get hold of both ends of the sofa because it was a two-seater sofa. So I would be able to, hold on one end, but not really get hold of the other end to pull myself up. And it was just cushioned, so it wasn't very easy. So I'm thinking, oh, hey, what am I going to do? And of course, normally when I go around the flat, I've usually got my gilet on or something, a cardigan with pockets in, and I nearly always take my phone with me around the flat because I'm of an age where I might fall. I haven't. I did fall in the supermarket recently. But again, it was. I can see the funny side of it. I haven't hurt myself either time, fortunately. In the supermarket, I hadn't had a lot of sleep, and I'd got new glasses. Not these new glasses, but these new glasses, and these are very focal. And I wasn't used to the very focal bit, and I was very tired, and I looked down quickly, and of course it changes the focus. And I just came over, all a bit whooshy. So on that occasion, I think I've told you. So I grabbed hold of the basket, that usually has a lot of tins and things in it. Those baskets that they put to try and tempt you to buy all these things. And I grabbed hold of it, but there wasn't anything in it. So as I grabbed hold of it, it moved, and it came over, and I landed on the floor that time. But I was in Iceland, and I was in one side of Iceland where you come in, and for ages nobody knew I was there. I called out. I called out on, from being on the floor. Nobody could hear me, and nobody was coming in the shop either. Because if somebody came in the shop, they would have seen me on the floor. So in the end, I decided that I was just going to go. So eventually, somebody came and they helped me up. It was a customer who helped me up in the end. A customer heard me shouting and came and helped me up. And then I just decided not to do any shopping. I decided to get a taxi and come home and get some sleep. And that's what I did. But on this occasion, I'm thinking, well, I haven't got the phone. The phone's over the other side. So basically what I could have done, I could have shuffled to get the phone. I didn't think of that straight. Well, that's what I would have thought of. But I'm thinking, oh, how am I going to do this? But because I've got no carpet, I could shuffle. That's what I did eventually. I shuffled across the floor, and then over by I've got a single armchair with nice sturdy arms on it. And I thought, if I can get over there, I'm sure I can get myself up. And so I shuffled over there, and there was a blanket over there, and I folded the blanket up so it was nice and soft, and then I kneeled on it because then my knees were protected. So I kneeled on it, grabbed hold of the side of the sofa, and managed to get myself up. If I hadn't been able to do that, I would have shuffled to find my phone on the side over that side. And my neighbours have got a key, or my brother's got a key, so I would have been okay. But isn't it marvelous that nearly every time I walk around my flat, I've got my phone on me, and on that occasion I didn't have. Anyway, note to self: do not stand on the sofa and try and get things off the top of the cupboard. Get other people to come and do those things for me. So Steve was saying he loved how Prince George was concentrating, listening to the veterans at the party at Buckingham Palace. Absolutely, it was wonderful, wasn't it? Just marvelous. I'm going to put my rainbow glasses back on, because this way, I've got the light shining off my computer into here. But I've got my computer on because I've got all my photographs from the last 2 days, so that it can prompt me if I dry up and don't know what to tell you. Like I'm ever going to dry up, not know what to say. Right, let's put these up here. So Tracy's dropped her link in there. So the link that's going across the bottom, she's put her link in the comments. So if anybody would like to donate, even if it's just a few pounds, every little helps. We're not asking everybody to do lots, but if anybody feels they can, we're not under no pressure either on anybody. But if you feel you want to, then there's the link. Okay. So Steve is saying get well to Tina. Absolutely, we're sending all the love. And yes, Tracy saying she's shared in the comments. Sam's friend Eileen is saying hello. Hello, Eileen. And Carol's saying, did I have a good day yesterday at Newport? I most certainly did. So normally these days I don't do 2 busy days in a row because I get tired very easily these days. But when you've got the Riverfest on one day and the Walk the White on the next day, you have to do them back to back. So what I did on Friday, because I knew that I wanted to be up and out early for the Riverfest. So the Riverfest is in Newport, takes me about 20 minutes to half an hour, depending on the buses, to get into Newport. And so I wanted to be there for 10 o'clock because that's when the Riverfest starts officially, and that's when the band comes down to the riverside. So it's a Riverfest because it's at the riverside, beside the River Medina in Newport. And basically, it's a wonderful, for those of you not living on the island and don't know anything about it, it is a wonderful fest. They call it River Fest because it's by the, it's a sort of festival. Every May it happens, and this weekend every year. And it's amazing because there's loads and loads of stalls all down by the riverside, and they're promoting all the charities, try and get their stalls there so that they can promote the charities. There are lots of local little businesses there. There are food stalls and things. There are stalls that sell hats and glasses. Would you believe it? There are stalls there was a lady, an author, that was selling her books, and I'm going to read you a bedtime story tonight if you're lucky. If you're not lucky, if you don't want to hear the story, then you need to go away now, but I am going to read a bedtime story to you. So I had an amazing day. I actually got there about 9:45, I think, and then I was well positioned to catch the band when it came in. And so but I'd had an early night the night before to make sure that I got up early and paced myself, and then I I recorded the band. Then I started walking along, and then I found that the magician, Steve-O and Kai, the magicians, they were on the stage at one point, and then I chatted to people on the stalls. I have hundreds of pictures. Do you know what? I've got to stay home for about a week to actually get all my photographs and all my videos and all my live streams all sorted out. Well, the live streams go straight onto Facebook, but the difficulty with that now is that Facebook are going to take all the live streams down. And if I've only got them on YouTube, I've got to get them down and get them loaded up onto YouTube. And even today I live stream, but I'm going to have to get those straight down because they're going to delete them very quickly. I don't quite understand why. Christopher's in. He says, "Hi Lynn, I have completed this year's Walk the White dressed as a chipmunk." You must have been so hot, Christopher. It was warm. I felt chilly in the breeze, but all of you lot, you were walking. So how much of did you do the whole walk, Christopher, or did you do just part of it? And I don't mean just part of it. Anybody who does any of the walk, I have absolutely great admiration for. However much I met some people on the bus, and I said, "Oh, did you walk?" They said, "Oh, we only did 8 miles." I said, only 8 miles. 8 miles is still a long way. So it's just amazing how many people were walking. I needed a Girl Guide whistle, probably. So Christopher's saying he's donated a garden trough to the Riverfest yesterday. So Christopher makes a lot of garden troughs and has donated them to lots and lots of businesses around the town. And he's raising awareness for suicide. An amazing job. And he was recognised by Ryde Town Council last week. I haven't managed to get the video up yet, Christopher. I've been so busy, but I videoed the awards were being given last Wednesday week ago at the town council meeting, and I think there were 6 local heroes in Ryde all got a certificate and were recognised, and Christopher was one of those. So that's brilliant, Christopher. Oh, you did the whole walk. Oh wow, I bet you were hot. So Christopher's saying he loves my videos every time he watches them. Excellent. I'm glad you do. So Sam's saying that his friend Janet has been poorly last week. She didn't come to the day centre where you work. Oh, well, I hope, is she feeling better now? I hope she is. Good evening, Paul, coming in from Paynton in Devon. One of my viewers from years ago in COVID time. You used to watch a lot, didn't you, Paul? So hang on. And Debs is coming in on YouTube saying, "Oh, Steve, love to see your portrait. Tuesday we have a painting and colouring activity 10 to 1, and Wednesday 1 to 2 a cafe plain air sketch for your Hunt's art group. Huntingdon art group, isn't that? Sorry, for our Hunt's art group. This week is colouring pencil week. Lots of art." And Steve is saying good evening to you, Paul. So wait a minute, Paul's coming in. Paul's coming in on Facebook. Look, there's for Paul coming in on Facebook. And let's take that down. So it's nice when you all chat to each other. There, right. So, and I've still got this stupid thing across my screen that says share the referral link. I don't want to. And I thought when I set this up that I had actually managed to not have that on the screen, because it's hiding some of your comments, and it's really difficult. Tracy's saying, "I certainly did a fantastic show of 2 wonderful events over the last 2 days. Shame Visit Isle of Wight don't live stream and show off the wonderful things our lovely island does." Oh, sorry, didn't mean to use the swear word. Well, if you hadn't done, Tracy, I would have done, because you know, down at the Riverfest yesterday, that's a free family event. If you really want to show the island off, to show people on the mainland that there's lots of free stuff to do on the islands, I'm sure we would get more. I mean, if Visit Isle of Wight were doing it, we would, you know, they with their big you know, they should be doing it. Sorry, I'm using the swear word again. For anybody who doesn't know, Visit Isle of Wight's a swear word because they don't promote the island. But anyway, you know, what a great cause that I could do it. You know, fortunately I know how to do it, and fortunately I'm now well enough to do it, and there are lots of other people doing it, and so if lots of you watching all of those, if you hit the share button every time you see wonderful things about the island, it will keep promoting the island, because you know, with this fantastic marketing company we've got, our tourism is 26% down, and it's not, you know, we do need to get it up. So I've been very lucky. I've been posting a lot of stuff in LinkedIn. I was sharing a lot of other people's content, so I'm not always making the content myself, but you know, seeing other people putting up beautiful things about the island, and I hit the share button, and somebody in LinkedIn has got an enormous group. I can't remember how many people in the group, and it's called UK Tourism Industry or something like that. And he invited me to share things into that group. And that is a massive group. And suddenly lots more people are following me and looking at the content and enjoying the content that. And it's not necessarily my content. You know, you don't have to do the content yourself if other people are making it. It's amazing. When I first started live streaming the island, it was because nobody was doing it. The marketing department weren't doing it, and nobody else was doing it, because of course we weren't at the stage where everybody had their drones, or they had, you know, they were doing vlogging and blogging. I'm talking 2016 when I started doing it, and I was lucky because my son showed me how to do it because he knew I was frustrated. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else, I'm just saying I started it, and I'm delighted that lots of people are doing it now, especially some of the drone footage. It's lovely to be able, and I just hit the share button and just share lots of other people. But I really thrived yesterday, being back in the crowd and chatting to the local businesses. And do you know what? So that this, I bought this from a local business. I made sure it was a local business and not a mainland business, because I tend to try and you know, go with the local people. I try to shop local if I can. And I think most of those stalls there were, I don't know, probably the balloon people might have been from the mainland. I don't want to sound mean, but you know, we've got to really work with our community, because life is pretty hard for them. I know it is for a lot of people, but I just like to really support the local businesses. So Yeah, so thank you, Tracy. I just wanted to be at the Riverfest. I don't think I was there last year, and of course the year before I was, I probably only just not long come off. Well, I'd been on oxygen for 3 months, so I must have come off oxygen at the end of March one year. But I certainly wouldn't have been at the Riverfest that year, because May's not much look further away, and I wasn't well. I don't think I was there last year. But in the previous years, I've absolutely loved it, and there's so much there to share with the world, and you know, as I network, it's just good. In fact, I did some fantastic networking yesterday. I have been called the networking queen, but it's just the way my brain's wired. If I see a florist, I think, well, she needs to connect with the lady who makes wedding cakes or the people who sell wedding dresses. It's a natural, my head works that way. It's just how my brain is wired. And I'd been talking. I tell you, I'm going to read you a story in a minute. I'm going to tell you a story. I've got to choose which one. I think I'm going to read The Snail Who Wouldn't Go Slow. I think that would be good. That's a bit like me, actually. I've learned to go slower now. Finally. I've lived life in the fast lane for years and years, but now it's time to slow down. So while I was at the Riverfest, I was standing talking to that lady, and I actually sat down on Navy Nora and got one of the books. I was telling her I was so excited to read these books. They're in rhyme, these, and they're the sort of books I would have read to my classes when I was a teacher. And so I sat on Navy Nora, and I thought, well, I'll read. If some children come along, I'll read them a story and get them interested, in this lady's books. And so then, I'd been doing that, but then some other young ladies came up and spoke to her, and I was doing a bit of eavesdropping, um, only for the good. And I heard them talking to her and wanting to collaborate with her. And I could hear that they were local people wanting to get together and work together to market things together, because when you do that sort of thing, it's really good. So one of them was talking to the author, and the other one, I said to her, oh, I'm sorry, I hear that you've got a business. Do tell me all about your business, because then I explained why. And we're going to have coffee, and we're going to work out how we can all support each other's businesses, because it's not about going somewhere and paying a huge. I know what it was. They wanted that they're doing. Now I'm trying to remember the business. They're doing. Oh, terrible. I've got so many things in my head. I've got their details. I've got a whole pile of leaflets here that I've got leaflets and business cards and all sorts here, and I'm going to have coffee with them, and we're going to market it. But it was something to do with, it was a children's business. And oh, this is terrible, isn't it? But I should remember. I'm just trying to see if I. No, sorry, but I will find it. But it was, they wanted to collaborate, and they want to do markets where they just get together, and they're not making huge money. They don't want a venue that costs hundreds of pounds and everybody has to pay huge amount of rental. They want to work collaboratively so they can find venues that don't cost a lot of money. But people, there are places where you can do these sorts of things, and they've been lucky, and they found somebody who wanted to host something like that without making huge amounts of money. So I want to get involved with that, and I'm going to meet them for coffee. Hang on. Steve's going to pop a couple more pictures on the community pages. Of course, it's okay. Absolutely. Um, so, and Alexander said that's brilliant, Steve. Steve started it up again after 20 years. Excellent. Debs is saying that's great. Christopher's going to say, Christopher's saying he's going to donate a garden trough to the children's ward at the Portsmouth General Hospital this week, and one is going to a care home in Newport as well. So you have to get a bit. You've got a busy week ahead. Yeah. And Christopher, how are you raising funds, or is it awareness or funds you're raising? Because I need to know more about it. If you're raising funds, I need to know how we can help. So Steve has done a thumbs up there for something that was going before.
Tracy saying we used Riverfest, but we didn't this year. As well, I'm not surprised. Tracy and her family were on holiday, and they only got back on Friday, and so they were walking the white today. And I did think, oh my goodness, are you going to be fit to do it? So obviously Tracy's saying they usually go to Riverfest, but they didn't this year, as they spent the day resting, as they didn't get back till about 11 o'clock on Friday night, and knew you had a busy day today, so tried not to do too much. And that's the thing, isn't it? It's learning. It's learning to look after your body and treat it well. I'm finally learning that. Finally getting there now. It's taken a while for me to learn. And you still look amazing. Oh, right. Debs is saying, wonderful taking up art again. Go, Steve. And Christopher's saying, get well, Tracy. I think it's Tina that's poorly in hospital. Tracy's probably feeling a bit creased from doing her walking today, but she will rest. She's gone home to rest up, and that's good. Carol's saying where she lives, Christopher. She could do with one of the crafts, one of your troughs. If you don't mind. Okay, so Christopher and Carol connect with each other, and then maybe that could happen, because Christopher's doing a great job. Debs is saying town centre St Ives, Cambridgeshire, with several artists needs sharing. You'd love to have a paint on the Isle of Wight. It's a beautiful place to come and paint. We do have lots of artists on the island, but there's always room for more, and we have so much talent on the island. And I was at Freshwater Bay, which is where Ronan has the Gate Cafe, and I met him because he was one of these angry levy payers. Not angry at me. I was the one trying to help him over the levy, but I met him some weeks ago, and I thought, well, I'm going over to Freshwater Bay, and I'm going to sit around near the cafe. And actually, this was funny because I said to Tracy and her family, I'll be at Freshwater Bay, and I want to see you coming through. So she told me originally that they might be through at 2 o'clock, but I should have rung her earlier and found out where she was, because I said, oh, I'd probably be near the red bus. But I went near the red bus, and at the time I went to the red bus, Ronan was running the red bus. It's like a bar in a bus, and his wife and his staff were doing the cafe. So I went to see him, but at the point I went to see him, he hadn't got his tables and chairs outside the bus, because there were cars parked in that bit, because I've learned all sorts of things on doing these things. The lifeboat people do their practice. They were doing their practice, and so they were out on the water, and their cars were parked there. So they were just about finished. When I was talking to Ronan, they were just about finishing, coming, doing their lifeboat practice. And he said, oh, they'll be gone soon, and then I'll get the tables out. Well, I didn't want to hang around there, and I perhaps was going to go back, but I should have gone back, because I went into the cafe, and because my phone was running out of charge. I do have a charger with me, but I thought, well, if I use all the charge on the charger, and then I want to do some more live streaming, I will have no phone battery. When I went over, I was keeping my battery topped up on the bus, because we've got chargers on the buses. Usually, sometimes they don't work. So I was keeping the phone topped up. I was trying to share out a lot of photographs and things from days gone by, doing the social media while I was on the bus, because it takes me. So I left home at 8:30, and I got to Freshwater Bay at 10:15. So you have to get two buses, and I had to wait at the bus station for the bus I needed to come out to Freshwater Bay. I don't mind, it's lovely. Our island is so beautiful. Travelling on a bus, I've done a lot of videoing through the bus window, and it's so lush at the moment, the island. So much of it is green. It's the Isle of Green, not the Isle of Wight. It's the Isle of Green, and I've got loads and loads of video to put out. It's just lovely to go on the bus, and of course I've got a bus pass, so it doesn't cost me anything. So anyway, I thought, well, I'll go in the cafe, I'll get myself a coffee, and then I asked if I could plug my phone in there, and there was a window where there was a socket, and I was going to sit there and watch out of the window, but something was plugged into that socket, so they said, "Oh, could I go into over the other side?" And I sat in the other side, and I was sort of in a corner, and I couldn't come too far away because of the wire, but I was videoing out of a door, and I could see all the people. I could see the people snaking down that hill coming down to Freshwater Bay, and I may well have videoed Tracy and her gang because I rang Tracy and I said, "Where are you?" They had already gone past me. They looked for me at the red bus, and they looked in the cafe, but of course I was hidden in the corner. If I had been able to be at that other seat, they would have seen me because I'd have been right in the window. Anyway, it didn't matter. So they obviously didn't want to stop because, they needed to keep going. When you're doing that sort of thing, you just need to keep going. You don't need to stop. You might seize up. So they were going on to Allen Bay. So I thought, oh, well, I'll catch the bus and I'll go to Allen Bay. Well, that's easier said than done. The bus stop was just there, but the Breezer buses come through. But I have to pay on the Breezer bus, and it's not that cheap. So the number 12 bus goes to Allen Bay, and that was the one I was on when I got off at Freshwater Bay. So, but they're about every hour and a half. And of course, the timing wasn't quite right. So the next one was going to come at 2 o'clock, and I think it was about 12:30 when Tracy and the family came past. And so um, I was chatting to one of the stewards, Jacob, who had seen me yesterday. Hi, Susan. Susan just come in the broadcast from Facebook. Nice to see you in the broadcast. So I was chatting to Jacob, who was pointing people in the direction of either they needed to go up the hill to join to that's the way to go for carrying on the walk, or here were the toilets. He was doing the directions, and he was the signpost. But he saw me yesterday. We'd connected yesterday at the Riverfest. He was doing, what was he doing? Um, First aid. Sorry, I couldn't think of the words. First aid. Anyway, he was brilliant. And we kept having chats and that. And then I said, well, I'm going to get the bus. So he saw the Breezer come and he said, oh, don't you want the bus? I said, no, not the Breezer. Well, and then I did. I went and I asked the lady, the bus driver, I said, how much would it cost? And then I decided I didn't want to spend that much going to Allen Bay. And it was going to take hours. It was going to go all round a very, very scenic route to get to Allen Bay. Whereas if I waited for it wouldn't have got there much different time than if I waited for the number 12 at 2 o'clock. That's only 15 minutes to Allen Bay, whereas this other one would go everywhere and still not get there much earlier. So I waited. And do you know what? I think it was 7 minutes to 2 when Tracy rang me. But she's got a really bad signal. She was out at the Needles. I was like, so no, before that, this bus driver, I said, do you go to do, do you go to the Needles? She said, no, I don't go to the Needles. I go to Allen Bay. And I've lived on the island 25 years, and I thought Allen Bay and the Needles were one and the same. Well, apparently they are. They're right by each other. So I don't know what she meant. She wasn't going there. So that was crazy because Jacob, who was this guy telling, directing all the stuff, he said it's the same place. So anyway, that I hadn't got on there. So so Tracy was ringing me 7 minutes before I was watching for the bus to come on the app. I got an app that was telling me it was about 7 minutes away. And she was trying to talk to me and I couldn't hear her because she said the signal was really bad out there. Well, she cut off, or I cut off, and then she rang me back, and eventually we managed to hear each other. And she said, don't come out to Allen Bay. She said, we finished, and what they do, because it was packed, because everybody was ending up. So people are walking. Some people start at 6 o'clock in the morning, their walks. People are starting their walks at whatever time they seem to want to do it. I've not watched this before, so it's all fascinating to me. The children's walk started at 11 o'clock. But not all the children went at 11 o'clock. They were still on the field having their, I think face painting and other things done, or watching entertainers and things. So they were all, the first ones went at 11. But, so it's just an all day thing. People rock up when they want to, by the seams of it, and just do what they want to. So Tracy's explaining it to me. Allen Bay is where the shops and bits are, but the bus goes up to the Battery, and it's the Battery where the Needles is. Right, yeah, but they are very near each other, aren't they? They are. Oh, so it was the bit. So where did you finish, Tracy? Were you at the near where the shops were, or where the Battery is? I don't know where it actually finishes. So anyway, and I still didn't know today because I didn't go there. but I'm learning new things all the time. But I'm glad I didn't get on that bus, because Tracy said, no, don't come up here. She said it's absolutely packed. And obviously what the marshals want to do for safety's sake is get people who've finished their walk going out of the way, because so many people coming through. So Tracy said, stay where you are. She said, we're coming down in the car. So they were not long before they came and found me. So I said, well, I'll be at the cafe. But this time I didn't go in the cafe. I sat opposite the cafe. And I think I was live streaming when I suddenly spotted Tracy coming on the other side of the road, going in. She was going to go into the cafe, and I called across and I said, I'm over here. So we did link up. And then, so I decided that at this point, I probably would get a bus to go home, because I'd been there quite a long time. Tracy and our family were going to stop at Compton Bay, which is on the way back. They were going to stop at Compton Bay at the Plaza Ices, and I thought, oh, that sounds nice. I might do that. Anyway, I decided that I wasn't going to do that, because they actually didn't stop, but it didn't matter. I know the guy who runs the Plaza Ices, his ice cream van, and I thought, oh, I'll go and just. But if I'd have done that, I then would have had an hour or plus wait to get on the next bus. So I decided not to get off the bus. I decided to come home. So I came home, but I stopped in Newport, and I popped into Morrison's and got one or two little bits of shopping, and then came home. And then I decided, should I get on a number 8 and go the scenic route? And then I looked, and it was going to take me more than an hour and a half, I think, to get home to Ryde, because it goes all. Sometimes I love to sit on the number 8 bus and just go all around the island to get from Ryde to somewhere, rather than a straight route, a wiggly route all the way around. But I decided no. I was tired. I was doing the broadcast tonight. I needed to come home. I needed to chill out and just rest a bit. So that's what I did. So Tracy said they had to walk up to the Battery to the Needles and then back down again to the shops. Right. Okay. Thank you. I understand it all now, Tracy, but I'm just glad you stopped me coming up there, if there were so many people up there. So Steve's posted 2 pictures. I will have to authorize the pictures. So if you go into the group at the minute, you won't see them, because I vet anything that comes in there, because we've had trolls in the past. I don't let people post straight away. I just have to approve the posts that are coming in. That saves me having to then, deal with any stroppy people who've put things in we don't want in the Go Live Granny community. So Tracy's saying they drove through to Gurnard, as had to drop Seb off home, and had an ice cream from Debbie, who was on Prince's Esplanade. So Debbie is Debbie and Gary run the ice cream vans, and Gaz. Does he call himself Gaz or Gary? Can't remember. So he was at Compton Bay, which is not far from Freshwater, and it's beautiful there. It's a lovely beauty spot there. But you really need a car for these things, if you don't want to wait 2 hours for a bus to come by. On our island, we have a lot of buses go to a lot of places, but that particular, the buses do go, the breezers go, but you have to pay for those. And when you're a pensioner, you haven't got so many pennies. So it's a bit mean, No, I'm not mean. I just need to make sure that I can, survive. Steve saying so. You still can't see that page. Which page are you talking about, Susan? Which page can't you see? So I know yesterday when I did some live streaming, and I know Susan looked at, she looked at some of my stuff I put up yesterday, and it had it had taken it had there was no sound on it. I was talking, but I thought it was I'd live streamed, and then it asked me if I wanted to put the live stream up as a reel as well, and I thought it was the reels that didn't have any sound. So I don't know what happened. You'll be happy. You'll be happy to make me a trough. Thank you, Christopher. Uh, you believe the Breezer buses are half price with our bus passes? Oh, I don't know. I thought we had to pay, Susan, so I don't know. I will have to check that out. We'll do some research. The community page that you have to approve. Oh, that's the Go Live Granny community. I wonder why you can't see it. It's called the Go Live Granny community, Susan. I don't know why you can't see it. Have another look. If anybody find a link to the Go Live Granny community page. You shouldn't have to, you shouldn't have to have any special permission to view it. The permission is for anybody who wants to post on it. And I think we need to do some more posting on there because it's got a bit quiet on there. We've got lots and lots and lots of people in that group, but nobody is much posting anything. So we need to regurgitate it, whatever the word is. Reactivate it, I think is the word, isn't it? So yes, so we need to get more going. And for a long time I was posting a lot of stuff on the Go Live Granny page, but because this was all of Isle of Wight orientated stuff, I've decided to get much more active on the Isle of Wight.live page, because that's really what it was set up for. When visit Isle of Wight, swear word again, when they were not doing live stream, what do I mean, YouTube and that. That's why we created that page, to get loads and loads of Isle of Wight stuff up. But of course, then COVID, and then I was ill, so that's why it wasn't so much stuff on it. I share a lot of other people's stuff on that page, lots of Isle of Wight stuff, but it's now nice for me to live stream over there, and I got quite a few people watching in, just people that I didn't necessarily know, but people who follow that page because it's Isle of Wight. So if you wonder why I was over there, that's why I was over there. So Susan says that a friend told her about the Breezer bus, that it was half price with our bus passes. I haven't been on it, but would go with you if it was half price one day. If you wanted to, for a day out maybe. Oh yes, let's find out. So we'll find out about that. So Susan says she used to be able to see the community page but doesn't appear in your groups now. Can someone message you the link please on Messenger, as I'm on my phone, so don't want to come out of the broadcast at the moment. No, I don't blame you. Is the community page on Facebook or YouTube? It's on Facebook, Alexandra. It's called the Go Live Granny Community. It's got yes, it's yes. So if anybody, if you can't find it and nobody's sending the link, drop a message in my messenger, and when I finish the broadcast, I'll see if I can find the right links for you, and then let's just share lots of stuff. Because at the moment it was sort of one or two people sharing and nobody else much being interactive. So it will be really nice if we can make that more an interactive group. So anyway, let me tell you, I got yesterday at the Riverfest, I got some free bubbles. I do like, I got some free bubbles that I can't open. Oh, yes, I can. Let me show. I'm forever blowing bubbles. Pretty bubbles in the air. And I can't sing for toffee. I don't want toffee either because it's not good for Slimming World. It's probably got gluten in it as well. So I was given these. One of the stands, I like to be very interactive on the stands at the Riverfest, anything like that, fetes and fairs and whatever. And there was a pool, a water tray. That's what I'm trying to say. There was a water tray, and there were some things in it, and I couldn't work out what it was. And I said, "Oh, what's that?" And it was enormous wands for doing from blowing bubbles, and it was windy yesterday, so I just had to dip it in and hold it up, and the wind was blowing it. And I got the chap to do some. He took my camera and did some photographs. I have got so many photographs. I need to stay home for a week and not go anywhere, just to get on top of posting up my photos and my videos. I've got a page. I'm starting anybody who's on the island, on a Friday. I'm going to be helping Jan, who used to run the Isle Access, and she used to run a warm hub in Newport on a Friday morning. We're actually now going to do the same thing at the old NatWest Bank in Ryde on a Friday. So I got to get the Facebook page set up and get the publicity out. So we're starting next Friday. It's a warm hub. It's one of those hub spaces where you can come in. It's going to be free, except we've got to pay £20 for the use of the space. And so Jan wasn't going to run it, she said, because she couldn't. It was she's she's on a pension, same as me, and we didn't. She said she wouldn't be able to do it. I said, well, hang on a minute. I said, let's see. I'll tell you what. I reckon we could get local businesses to pay for it. Just once maybe, a local business or local people in the area who might want to see a warm hub grow. It's a space where people can come, be included. There's a lot of people out there who are lonely, and they would just love to come in. We did it successfully in Newport. They just love to come in and have a chat, have a cup of tea, have a cup of coffee, maybe, some biscuits and things like that. And so I didn't want Jan not to do it because of the money. Now £20 is not a huge amount of money. So what I've done in the past is I've got local businesses to help with funding things. And years ago, we had a church was decommissioned, and it was going to be. It's become. Sort of a bit like a community centre, and it's become a community hub in itself. It's got lots of things going on there, and they help. I think it's got some sort of food pantry, but they've got people have different activities there. There's a knit and natter group. I think there's all sorts of things go on up there. But Heath, who started that project off, I knew him. And he told me about it, and he said, oh, I've got the keys, I want you to come and have a look. And so I used to I used to giggle my way around town with another granny. We were known as the Giggly Grannies. We've gone our own separate ways now, but we were known as the Giggly Grannies back then. And he said, I want the Giggly Grannies to help. It was a bit of one of those projects. It's like the SOS, when they need a community of people to come together to decorate a room. That's what it was. And they wanted the first room decorated so they could start renting the room out, so they could start getting money in to further the project. Now the project is way down the line now, and he's doing amazing things. Because I had a network group of different, a lot of different local businesses, and it was just a network group to, not to make money, just to work together as a community. And so I put out the plea. I said, and they weren't all tradies, but lots of them could wield a paintbrush or wield some sandpaper and that. So we had that day where they all came in, and actually they were painting and decorating and that. And then we found some mold, and it looked like things were going to have to stop until the mold get dealt with. But in my network group, I had a guy who dealt with mold. He wasn't there on that occasion, but I rang him up, and he was just coming back. I think he'd been to the mainland, and he was just coming back down the pier, and we were not far from the pier. So I said, oh, you couldn't come up and see. So I mean, it's just amazing when you work together as a network. There's so much good that can be done. So so he came and he sorted that out. But Heath, who was running the project, said to me, oh, I wish I'd got the tiles for the toilet, for doing around the toilet. and he'd hoped to have had them done. I said, well, what's the nature of the problem? Tell me, tell me what you need. No, I don't think whatever I said, I meant I wanted to know the cost. He started telling me how many square meters of tiles he wanted. I said, no. How much does it cost? How much will the tiles cost? And he said £200. So I said, what time will that be? Sorry, I'll come back to that in a minute. So I said, okay, leave it with me. And in 2 hours, I had raised the £200 because you don't do it in one big lump. You don't go out and find somebody who'll give you £200. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time is what they say. Not that I ever want to eat an elephant. What a silly expression that is. But, it's one bite at a time. So basically, I went out to my community of all the people, the people, networking people I knew. And I said, would anybody give me £10 towards the tiles? And in, I think, 2 hours, I had raised the £200. And so, when you break things down like that, it's very easy to do. In the past also, I used to sell children's books after I was a teacher. And so I was interested in getting more books into children's hands as an ex-teacher. And it was then I wasn't teaching, so it was my income. Schools around here had no books, but people had no money. It was a very, the schools had no money to get the books into the children's hands. And so what I did, I set up a scheme where I got maybe a local business to donate a book. Now I was talking not £500 of books. I was saying, this book is £2. Would somebody please, would somebody like to donate this to a local school? And what I did in return, because I'm good on social media, I would promote the business. I would sell a book, and it wasn't all, I didn't want to sell lots of books. I just wanted to sell a few. But it was a win-win-win because I sold the book, the business got the publicity, the schools got the books, and then we put a book plate in the front of the book to say which business it was that had donated that book to that school. And suddenly we were getting lots of books. People were generous. They would spend more than £2, but I didn't want to ask anybody for more, for a lot of money, just a little bit of money. And that really worked very well. So Tracy's saying, after seeing me at Freshwater Base, you got back in the car and nearly took your head off as you forgot you had your boppers on and they were too tall on your head. Oh, so Tracy had some wonderful bumblebee boppers on. So if you watch the live stream where I was interviewing or chatting with Tracy, I'll say, she had the boppers on. And the bees are significant because she was walking in memory of Nikki, and Nikki was the mummy who set up the Kessie Kindness charity in memory of her daughter Kessie, who was taken far too soon, and she was like a little bumblebee. And so the bumblebee is significant. It's funny because my group I used to run, my network group, was called White Buzz, and it was buzzing around and that sort of thing. But no, so they were wonderful. Where did you get those boppers? I want boppers like that, Tracy, because they were really good bee boppers. And as you know, I love to have things on my head and do crazy things. I got so many smiles when I was wearing these glasses and this hat. I bought them yesterday at the Riverfest. So wait, Susan, remind me. I'll come back to the group in a minute. If I forget, just remind me. So at the Riverfest, I saw this stand. And they had hats and glasses and things. Well, if you'd watched my live streams more recently or seen me out and about, I have got rainbow handbag and a rainbow shopping bag like this. So when I saw this on the stall, it was shouting at me to buy it. Buy me, buy me, buy me. And when I saw the glasses, I couldn't resist. And actually, they're quite good tonight because they're not so reflective, not reflecting so much because they're sunglasses. They're not reflecting the light of the computer at me. But also, look, so lots of people have. I bought the handbag and the shopping bag because I travel on the train a lot, or I travel about. I know when I see rainbows, it makes me really smile. So I bought those bags, you know, to hook onto Navy Nora to make people smile when I'm out and about. So when I saw this and this, I just, you know, it was a no-brainer. But I love a bargain, as you know, and this was £6 for one or £10 for two. So I had to do the bargain. I didn't get cash back on it, but look, do you like this one? Nice smileys on this one. So I expect this will raise a few smiles as well. Oh, this one's not so, doesn't seem so hot as that one. This one, is it a bit thicker? I don't know. No, maybe it's just because my head was hot. So hang on. Oh, Tracy said she got the boppers at Poundland. They were Easter stock reduced. I have a spare pair you can have next time. Oh, how wonderful. I'll pay you for it, Tracy. Quite happy to pay you for it. So that would be lovely. And I'm going to pop some money in your fundraiser as well. So anyway, what was I saying? Oh yes, so going back to the hub. So the hub, we're going to run this hub on a Friday, and it's going to be, I'll let you know, I think it's 9 till 12, something like that, or 9:15, I think, until 12. I've got to look at the thing before I do the publicity. I've got to look at what it says. Wonder if I can, hang on. No, I won't fiddle about with the computer now. Tracy's saying, no, you won't pay for that. Oh, well, okay, that's very kind of you. I'm not going to fight you, but I am going to have a drink because my throat is dry. Oh, I got a noisy water bottle. These are those lovely little ones that fit in the end of my handbag. You know, there's little pockets on the end of my handbag, and I got these too. And I bought them in Hearst. I tried Hearst first. Got a lovely stores, hardware stores called Hearst on the island, and we've got several on the island. We've got one in Ryde, and they've just started doing 10% discount on a Wednesday. So I got my discount because I love a bargain, you know. So I got those, and then I ended up losing this one because when I went to my son's wedding, my son and daughter-in-law's wedding, on the day after the wedding, we all met up in the local. Lots of us met in the local park, and they got food vans there. So we all went and had breakfast in the park. It's a park that's been regenerated, and it's got lots of good things going on in there. And my granddaughter was thirsty and wanted some water, and I'd got water, and this has got juice in it at the moment. It's got sugar-free juice, which is great for Slimming World. But she wanted some water, so I gave her this, and then I forgot to retrieve it, and so I thought, oh, never mind, I'll have to buy another one. Anyway, we went to see them again after the wedding, and they gave it to me back. So I now have it back. If anyone is interested on the island, it's Ride a Bus next weekend. Oh, well, will I be able to get on those buses? Because they're not, the modern buses are easy for me to get on, but I don't know that the old buses will be. But I'm here. I'm still here next weekend, so maybe I'll go down to the bus museum and do some live streaming, even if I can't get on the bus. So are you going on the buses next week, Tracy? So anyway, going back to the hub. So it's my intention to see if I can get a local business or a local person to donate the hire fee. So it's £20 we've got to pay for a week for a morning, but that will provide a warm hub space for lots of lovely people to come in. There's a lot of space in there, and I could offer craft, or we can offer just sitting and chatting, or it's a hub, and it's just to prevent isolation. It's all inclusive, anybody can come, and so we want to do that. I mean, obviously I'm not always on the island, but I will help Jan as much as I can, and I'm happy to lead some craft happy to lead some craft if anybody wants that. But we need to do that space. But it's a wonderful space. It's the old NatWest building. It's great. And so if any of you island people know um, a local business, and I don't just want the money, I want to pay the rent, that rent. So it could be more than one business. It could be two businesses doing it for 10 each. But in return, I will do a lot of publicity for that local business. So I'm not just asking for the money for no reason. So that's good. And then we're hoping that maybe there might be a business that might donate some biscuits or things like that. So not that I want those, because I'm on Slimming World and I usually take my own little snack with me. But it worked well in Newport, and we met some lovely people, but then it was no longer practical to do it over there. But since Jan and I both live in Ryde, it's much easier to do it here. So anyway, that's that. So I will find the time. You'll see the publicity go up, Susan, and anybody else who's island based who would be interested, just let me know, and I'll make sure you've got the details. So anyway, let me. I'm going to read you that story in a minute, but let me tell you, I got another. Oh, on my table, I have got, and it's all unravelled, I've got a lot of yellow ribbon. Look, now I'd be dangerous with a brain, because I put this ribbon in my Navy Nora trolley today, because the colour of the hospice, or their colour, is yellow. And I didn't have time to decorate Navy Nora before I went, because I was dashing out to catch that early bus. So I thought, I'll do it on the bus. I'll decorate and put some ribbons on my Navy Nora and make her navy and yellow Nora. And I forgot to take the scissors. And it's very difficult. I couldn't tear this. I couldn't rip it. I couldn't bite it. So I gave up the unequal struggle. And then it's decided to unravel itself in my bag. Hello, Donna. Nice to see you. Oh, ha ha. Tracy's saying, visit Isle of Wight to pay the £20. No, they probably try and charge me for doing something. They'll say I'm running a cafe. They'll say I'm running a cafe. I have to pay them. Don't tell them. Alexander's saying she was at the bus museum today for their VE Day afternoon. Lots of music. Yeah, do you know that there's just so many things going on the island. I can't get to them all. There are just too many different things. It's great, because what it means is that our island is offering so many wonderful things. So was that a freebie afternoon, Alexander? I presume it was. So were there lots of music? I should think that people could just come in, could they? Or was there a donation, or how did it work? I know they're of charity, but I know that, we've got so many of these things going on, and I bet it was gorgeous. I bet it was lovely. I so enjoyed watching all the VE Day celebrations on Thursday. So my day, my week has been pretty busy, because on Tuesday I went to the Wellbeing Coffee Morning that's held at Ryde Library. Sorry, I'm winding up this. Look, it's managed to hook itself round me even while I'm sitting here. Oh, shenanigans. Oh dear, look, what a mess. What a mess I'm in. So it was free, was it? Tina, get well soon. Debs is saying, get well soon, Tina. She's come over to Facebook. I think she was on YouTube earlier, weren't you, Debs? I think Debs has the trouble with the sound on YouTube, didn't you? So Alexander's saying, yes, I presume that was free concert. I think that's what you're answering. Sometimes I ask a question and then I forget. Oh, donations, that's it. Donations, if you could. Yes, and do you know what? That works very well for a lot of people, if you could just put in what you can afford, it means you don't miss out on all the things, but people respect that. And it is a charity, and they're doing a lot of good things over at the Bus Museum. They had a fashion show at the Bus Museum. Sorry, I've just got to find a tissue. Oh, hang on. Excuse me, just have a little. Sorry, you don't really want to see me. I'll go over here to wipe my nose. Talk amongst yourselves. There we go. Oh dear, I don't know where this sniffles come from. Oh, sorry. I need need another little blow. Sorry. The hazards of a live streamer. There we go. Yeah, I'm back. So, oh, what was I saying? What was I doing? I forgot what I was saying then. I don't know. Somebody remind me what I was saying. There we are. I've wound my ribbon all back up again. That's good. But I got a freebie yesterday as well. So I got the free bubbles. They gave me the bubbles when I was blowing those huge bubbles. I saw some bubbles on there, and they said I could have one of those. And then I was a lady store, Kirby. Now she started. I think her name is Kirby. I think it is. But her business is called so it's a bit dark in here, My Bathology. And look what I've got. And this is a wonderful pot of, it's a bit almondy. Look, and I can go in the shower and I can use this to wash with, and apparently I can use it on my hair as well. And it's got a bit of sparkle in the top. Can you see? But she gave me this, so I'm going to try it out, and then I'm going to love it. I'm sure I'm going to love it, and then I'm going to tell you all about it when I've used it. But it's got a nice smell. I can tell you that already. So it is Berry Overload. It's called Berry. Oh yeah, it's just lovely. It's what I actually can't read. Shower, bath. I can't read because I haven't got much of a good light here. That's why. It's for your hair. I'm going to put this other light on for a minute, folks. I don't put it on because it shines on the screen, but what does it say? Shower, bath, shaving and hair. Oh, that's wonderful. Excellent. Let's put that light off again. Oh, I don't know. Has it affected? I'll leave it. Oh dear. Something falling down here. Oh my goodness. I moved my chair and I knocked something down. Dear, oh dear. Oh, what am I like? Right. So Alexandra's saying the fashion show was £15, but did include a cream tea. You couldn't afford it. No, I understand that, because that is difficult. You know, we're in a, you know, we're in a crisis situation. Lots of us, it's very difficult for us to afford things. But you know, there are things that we can do so the Warm Hub, I'm hoping to get some businesses to pay so that there's no cost to that. You can come in and have a cup of tea, and it will go ahead on Friday, because I said if I haven't got any businesses to donate by Friday, then I will donate it myself. So I don't want it not to start on Friday. So I'm gonna see, and next Friday is my pension day, so I can do that. So anyway, I have something here. What is this? This was an interesting stall. I got this. I could see the word drone on one of the stalls, and I thought, oh, let's go and talk to them about drones. Well, this is Drone Star. So it's a search and rescue drone for lost dogs on the Isle of Wight. People are coming out with so many ideas for doing things, and this is a charity, and they gave me this pack. Let me open it up and see what's in it, if I can open it without scissors, because I haven't got scissors in front of me. Of course, I didn't take the scissors, did I, to cut the ribbon? So what have I got in here? So it's the dog's name, the fur collected on, refreshed. Oh, so it's got dates for putting what date you collected the fur. Oh, this must be, you know, for searching for them. I'm not a dog person, so I don't really know how, much about it. But look, there's a plastic bag. I think these are sterile medical examination gloves. Drone Star. So there's a business card. There's gauze swabs. Oh, wow. This is amazing. I need to read up on it. Let me see if it tells me on here. We are a branch of the award-winning Drone SAR for Lost Dogs UK group. We are a totally free service with dedicated volunteers to help your lost dogs safely home. The team consists of drone pilots, ground searchers, and trained search dogs. Anyone asking for money to help find your dog will be scammers. Do not respond to them. Then it tells you how to contact them. It says to all islanders and visitors, it is advised to not let your dog off the lead if they do not have a reliable recall. Even the most well-trained dogs will chase birds, rabbits, and accidents happen. The forests have abundant wildlife to consider. All dogs should be kept on leads when walking agricultural land to protect both livestock and crops. We are a very dog-friendly isle, but ask you please enjoy it safely. And there's lots of information on there as well. Loads of information on the back. So if your dog has run away from home, if you did not see them leave, thoroughly recheck your home and garden. Make sure just the owner calls using a happy, non-concerned voice, or use a familiar whistle. They are trained in. I'm not going to read all this now, but if anybody wants to know, I can give you the details for there. So that was the drone. That was the drone SAR search and rescue team for looking for your dogs. It's amazing what businesses we've got going on the island. What was this one? Right. So, oh yes, this was the gentleman I spoke to towards the end of the right, nearly at the end, because actually, although I was there at 10 and the thing finished at 5, I didn't get to every single stand. That's because I talk too much and I had to stop and live stream. But when I'm talking, I'm learning a lot about all the businesses. So this was the Natural Enterprise, and this is a chap called Sebastian, and he was talking to me. It says Rivers and Invasive Species Project Manager, and he was talking to me a lot about all the all the sorts of things. So it says Natural Enterprise and Economic and Environmental Partnership. So that was very interesting. So Susan's saying, you remember my friend that went with us to that quiz that night? Yes, I think they helped him find a dog he had at the time. Oh, excellent. Sadly, he decided to rehome the dog as it didn't get on well with his other dog and he already had. He took the other dog in from a couple that split up to help. All good now, though. The dog is in a new, lovely home, you believe. Excellent. That's good. So that's good news. Oh, I'm glad that you know that service has been used. You know somebody has used it. Now, what's this? This is Laura's Cake and Tea Service, celebrations with panache. And then this one, this was Elsa Poppy, and this was Designs and Creations, and this was really good. And I went up to the lady and I said, "Oh, are you Elsa?" And she said, "No." She said, "But it is my business." And apparently Elsa is the middle name of one of her children. So that's why she called her business that. But she was a lovely lady who wanted to network with local businesses, and maybe have local markets because we've got so many talented people on the island. Just so many. And they just need an outlet without having to pay hundreds of pounds to have a stand at some craft fair or something. We need to be helping these people on a budget. Then this one is Monkey Haven. So again, towards the end of the afternoon, I could see some monkeys on a stand, and of course, because I like monkeying around, it drew me in, and I had a wonderful chat with the people from Monkey Haven, and so I went to Monkey Haven when it was first set up, and it was many years. I tell you how long ago it was. I think it was 15 years ago, because my twin granddaughters are going to be 18 next weekend. But I am on the island next weekend because they've deferred their celebrations till the following weekend, because their best friend's she's got an A-level, and so on the Monday, so she wouldn't be able to join in the celebrations. So I can be here. And so Monkey Haven opened when they were 3. So we went to Monkey Haven, and it was brand new, and there wasn't a lot there. When we went, it was paid to get in, but it wasn't a lot there. But I understand there's so much there now to see. I mean, not that perhaps they want to go to Monkey Haven now. They don't come to the island very much. We have not a lot of time at the moment, and I spend a lot of time going to them instead. But also, when they were here, when they were three. Tapnell Farm was just starting as well. And again, it only had a little bit of stuff there, so not a lot to do. But now there's an amazing amount of stuff. Tapnell Farm has really built it up. It's amazing. It's another one of our fantastic attractions. The Monkey Haven. It used to be Monkey and Owl Haven, and they were saying they still do the owls, but it was a bit of a mouthful, so they went to the Monkey Haven. But they had lots of toy monkeys. I got a wonderful picture of me with one of the great big monkeys because, of course, I wanted to monkey around. So let's see what else I've got. I'm going to read you a story in a minute. What's this? Oh no, I thought that was a business card, and it's not. It's something that I obviously had something attached to it. It's one of those cards from something you buy. So that's not a business card. That was just in my bag. Let's see. Have we got any more comments? No. Okay. So this was, this is Adam. And Adam does caricatures. He's a caricature artist. And he said, oh, hello. And I said, he said it so that like we knew each other. And sometimes people say that to me, and I think, do I know you? Am I forgetting or whatever? Because I've got a granny brain. And so I said, and he said, yes, we go to Slimming World together. So that's nice. And apparently he lives around the corner from me. He lives on the same estate as me. So that was good. We had quite a chat. So he'd been quite busy, but it was the end of the day and he was just packing up. But I managed to chat to him before he packed up. And then what's this? Turner's Creations, or for all your personalised gifts. So I'm going to look up all these because they've got their Facebook pages and all their details on here. So I'm going to look. And then this is Julia. Julia Hayward is the author of these books. And so I'm going to read you a bedtime story before we go. And she is going to be at the county show at the Yarmouth first Sunday in July. Something going on there. The Chale show, the Sandown Regatta, Wolverton Manor. She's telling me where she's going to be, which is nice. And then one of the live streams I did was some sort of keep fit activities, and it was Ali's Fitness Fusion. So you should be able to see the live stream of the Fitness Fusion going on. So that was good. I did live stream the Magicians. Steve-O and Kai, they were there. Oh, that's the Drone Star. I've done that one. Then I was chatting to some people from Castlehold Church, and they were telling me about the meetings that they have on their coffee mornings at Castlehold Church. And then he wasn't going to give me this because this was about Youth for Christ, but I said, if you give it to me, I can tell other people about it because I do networking. And then also the Newport Girls Brigade. And you know what? He was very proud. He said, oh, we had people in the VE celebration. I said, I know. I said, I was watching it, and I was watching it live, the VE celebrations, and then I had an interruption. I think somebody came to something happened, and I stopped watching it, and then I watched it on iPlayer later. And so when I was watching it iPlayer, I suddenly heard Girl Guides. I think it was Girl Guides, and I don't know whether it was Boys Brigade. It was. They mentioned Isle of Wight on this was on the parade, the big parade in London, and I rewound it and I took a photograph of that group on the TV because it was so. And this guy said he was telling me very proudly how they were in the parade for the VE celebration. I said, I know, I heard it and I rewound it. So that was good. And this is Seaside Surprise. There were people doing, there were children they were using coloured sand to stick on and make pictures. Well, years ago, I mean, this is not to do with Allen Bay and the coloured sands at Allen Bay, but years ago at Allen Bay, you used to be able to go up the cliffs and collect coloured sand. So we were very famous for coloured sand, and then you used to be able to buy a bottle and put the coloured sand in the bottle and put different colours, so you've got all the different colours showing. And as long as you filled it properly, it didn't all mix up. If you didn't put enough sand in and then you shook it, all your sand would mix up and then it wouldn't be all the nice coloured sand. But I can remember rolling down those cliffs, and it was the year it was. Isn't it funny the things you remember? My brother, my younger brother, the one who sadly took his life, he was a baby, and I remember all this because one of the suitcases got left behind. But fortunately, it wasn't the suitcase with all the nappies for the new baby in, because that could have been a bit disastrous. Because you didn't have, people weren't doing disposable nappies then, and so that's how I remember. It's bizarre how your brain remembers these things. But it was my case that got left behind when we went on holiday. But that didn't matter because I ended up with some nice new clothes. And I can remember having these lovely red tartan trousers and a red top. And there I was rolling down the coloured sands and the cliffs. But of course, over the time, it became dangerous, and you're not allowed to go up the cliffs anymore. But health and safety wasn't such a thing way back in the day, was it? So I remember rolling down there. I don't know how old I was, probably about 8 or 9. No, wait a minute. Yes. Oh, that was a good guess, because I was 8 years older than my younger brother. So yes. So I said 8 or 9. That was a very good guess, because he was a baby and he got nappies. So that was, good old Lynn, remembering that well. So what else? Um, I must have a lot more business cards, but I don't know where they all are. So, are you ready for a story? Are you sitting comfortably? That's what they used to say on Listen with Mother. Are you sitting comfortably? And then, who was it? Who was it who used to say? Oh, it was Max Bygraves, I think. Way back in the day, those of you older as me will know. I want to tell you a story. So I've read all these. So this is a snail who wouldn't go slow. I'm only going to read you one tonight. You might get another one another time. This is the vacuum cleaner allergic to the dust. I just love that. And this one is the dolphin who wants to be a mermaid. And they've all got a sort of a moral in them. They're lovely. And of course, I like a bargain, don't I? So they were whatever price. I think they were $7.99 each. But if you bought 2, you got a deal, and if you bought 3, you got a better deal. And I thought, well, I'm going to read them to my grandchildren, and Julia has signed them in there to the Go Live Granny and her grandchildren. She put in all of them for me. But I'm going to read you The Snail Who Wouldn't Go Slow. I just love them all, but I think I want to do this one. This one tonight. Are you at home tomorrow? We are popping into Ryde to see a friend, and I could drop boppers off to you. It would be, yes, absolutely, Tracy. That would be wonderful. That would be marvellous. Yes, I'm not going anywhere tomorrow. I was supposed to have a lady come in and cut my toenails, because I find it very difficult to cut my toenails. But she's not very well, so she's not coming. So I'm not going anywhere or doing anything unless anybody changes the plan. So yes, I will be here tomorrow. So that'll be good. Okay, let me know when you're on your way, and I'll make sure the door's open for you. So this book, The Snail Who Wouldn't Go Slow. This book is dedicated to anyone in a rush. This is like I used to be. May these pages invite you to pause, breathe, and embrace the stillness in each moment. And this lovely lady, I said, how did you get to write a book? And she was ill. And it was in her recovery that she decided that she wanted to write books. And I said, oh, that's interesting. I said, because when I was ill, when I was in my recovery, I started doing all the paper craft. So that, we were comparing notes. So settle down and snuggle up. I'm going to tell you a story. It's a wonderful tale about Gail the snail and her extraordinary racing glory. As you may know, snails are known to be sluggish, but that's not always the case. Gail the snail would not go slow. She always won the race. And if you're sitting comfortably, I will show you the pictures. And this is where, if I was in landscape, you'd be able to see it all in one go. But I have to do this. Can you see? Do you like my new nails? I had my nails done on Friday. I had plain ones this time. Last time I had Easter bunnies and things like that, but I went for just a plain look this time. So, in a garden bursting with flowers. Wait a minute, is that the right page? Yes. In a garden bursting with flowers and grass of emerald green, Gale zipped and zoomed about the place, the fastest snail ever seen. Are you enjoying it? Oh, you're loving my nails, Steve. That's good. She caused a flurry as she whizzed through plants. Slow down, the sunflowers cried. But Gale just giggled and passed them by as she kept to her quick stride. Gale didn't have time for anyone. She told herself, don't dilly, don't dally, just run. And sorry, I've got to blow my nose again. Oh, I don't hope I'm not getting a cold. Maybe it's a bit of hay. I don't normally suffer with hay fever, but maybe that's what it is. Excuse me, I'm just going to go over here to blow my nose. Back again. Here we go. So, oh, I didn't show you the pictures, did I? Let me show you the pictures. Look at the beautiful sunflowers. There we go. And sunflowers, so many sunflowers I saw today, because sunflowers is the emblem of our Mountbatten Hospice. So people had sunflower head pieces and sunflowers on their backpacks and all sorts of sunflowers. Some people had sunflower leggings on, and I saw a guy with a sunflower shirt. I was sunflower jealous. I do have some sunflowers here that I did buy from the hospice, but I don't know where I've put them, and I was too busy to look for them before I went out. Does that surprise you? Gale raced with bees and butterflies and always beat them clear. When she sprinted past an army of ants, she let out a mighty cheer. Yay! Gale had defeated everyone. A new rival was needed to exceed. Aha, she thought, I know just the critter. I'll outrun a centipede. And Steve is saying he's got sunflowers in his hallway downstairs. That's lovely. And my mum used to love sunflowers. So when we had her family, her service of remembrance and her celebration of life, we were wearing. I had some sunflowers. A necklace with sunflowers that Yvonne crocheted for me. I crocheted some sunflowers and put them. I had Crocs. I always wear Crocs because that's what's the best for my feet, according to the guy who was my footman. And I say was because sadly he passed away. I didn't change footmen, but he's not there, So anyway, and so I had big sunflowers on my Crocs, and I think I had a sunflower in my hair, and we had sunflowers, as the tributes as well. So that was what my mummy liked. Did I show you? Did I show you the critters? I don't know if I showed you. This is what I had to do. This is what I did when I was teaching. I would read the story and then show the pictures. Excited, Gale dashed off to find one when a cricket leapt out from a bush. Do you want to play a game? He chirped. I can't, Gale snapped. I'm in a rush. Gale didn't have time for playful fun. She told herself, don't dilly, don't dally, just run. There we go. And then race day. Hang on, I've turned 2 pages at once, and if you do that, and if children know the story, they won't let you do. Some mummies and daddies try and do the bedtime story quickly and turn 2 pages at once. I never like doing that because you miss the story. But no, I'm going back. I'm not going to miss the page. At last, Gale found a centipede who was keen for the chase. If we race up the hill, it'll be more of a thrill, she uttered in haste. Centipede agreed, and the date was set. Gale announced to everyone, meet me at the finish line to applaud me when I've won. Oh, my goodness, what a bit of a big head here. I think pride goes before a fall sometimes, don't you? Who knows? It might. So, race day came and it was dawning. Gale squeezed in a practice run. A dragonfly flitting by asked, why run? Why not bask in the glorious sun? Gale didn't have time to sit on her bum. She told herself, don't dilly, don't dally, just run. And those are the rhymes that, when I was reading to the children in school, I would, where you get the repeat lines like that, don't dilly, don't dally, just run, I would always encourage them to join in with me And, so they got the gist of it as we went along in the story. Participation. There we go. Audience participation. You can do that there, but I won't hear you doing it. So, Gale arrived at the starting line where the centipede waited with pride, for on each of his feet, 100 in total, was a trainer with shoelaces tied. Lovely pictures here. Gale started the race. She yelled, "Ready, steady, go!" And they bolted up the hill. Gale moved at such a rapid speed the centipede appeared to be standing still. Look at all those legs. Sorry, I'm just going to have a drink again. Too much talking, Lynn. Lindy Lou. That's what my mummy and daddy used to call me, Lindy Lou. I should have done that over there because it's not so attractive watching me having a drink. Let's have a look. When Gale reached the top, not a soul was there. She crossed the finish line alone. She glanced back down at the centipede. He had quit and was heading home. A sorrowful lump rose in her throat and tears pricked her eyes. "Why did no one clap or cheer me?" she sobbed. "'Cause that was my winning prize." Look, she's looking very, very sad. A very sad-looking snail. Just then a wise old owl swooped down. He gave her a quizzical hoot. "You don't know what day it is, do you?" he queried. "You need to be more astute." "You're too busy flitting around," he grumbled. "Nothing catches your eye. It's an important day for nature. The sun is at its highest in the sky." There's the wise old owl. "Oh no," Gale cried as she remembered. "How could I have been so blind? I forgot it's the summer solstice. It's completely slipped my mind." Owl muttered, "Twit!" without a twoo. "They didn't watch your winning streak because they are prepping for Midsummer's Peak. Then tomorrow it's all systems go as we wind down for the winter ahead. So excuse me, Owl flapped. The day is long, the night is short. I have to get to bed." There we go. I hope you're sitting comfortably, folks, while I'm reading this. You get quite a lot for your money here. Quite a good long story. Gale, all alone on the hill, sat very still. She didn't make a sound. She breathed in deeply to relax and took time to look around. "How silly of me," Gale sighed. "What does running around ever bring? All it does, it makes me miss the beauty of every living thing." Have I swiveled that round a bit? Don't know. The flowers, the trees, the birds, all the clouds up in the sky, the smell of roses, the fragrant herbs, summer's bounty passed me by. They do say stop and smell the roses, don't they? Sometime, and of course that expression means slow down and breathe and just enjoy. Mulling over the lesson she'd learnt, Gale slithered down the hill. "Slow down," she reminded herself. "Don't hurry, don't scurry, just chill." It's taken me a long time to learn to slow down and just chill. But that's what I have to do now. It took many days for Gale to descend. She had lots of time to reflect. She absorbed all the sights and sounds and saw a world that was truly perfect. By the time she arrived at the garden gate, she'd seen many things under the sun. Gale now told herself, I will dilly, I will dally, I will not run. Nearly there, folks. So remember, children and grown-ups. Hang on. No, that's only one page. So remember, children and grown-ups too, be like Gale the snail and enjoy the view. Take time to be slow, cherish each moment. Every day is a gift, not a race to rush through. Oh, that was the last page. And then there's a quiz at the end, and it says, how many sunflowers have faces? What game does cricket like to play? So these are the things that you can, do with your child if you've got this book. It's just amazing. And it said there's all sorts of, what initials are on Gale's towel, including the cover. How many times does the ladybird bug appear? What didn't Gale have time to sit on? At the starting line for the race, what are the two ants carrying? What does Centipede wear on his feet for the race? Owl carries a cane, but what colour is it? As Gale slithers down the hill, what does she take time to smell? At the cricket match, what gift does Bee give to Gale? And then the answers are upside down at the bottom of the page. And then it says, so this is all for interaction with your child. This is the sort of thing I would have done when I was reading with the children. What did you love about this story? Please let us know. And then it says you can rate a review online, even if you didn't purchase from there. Whether it's a star rating, a single sentence, or longer, your honest review helps others discover the perfect book for them. So that's good. And then another time I will read you the vacuum cleaner allergic to the dust. Mind you, I'm going to go and see my grandchildren, and I might just read I might give them one. I want to read them. This one is the dolphin who wants to be a mermaid, and I just love the idea of a vacuum cleaner that's allergic to dust. So let's see. Oh, there's some comments coming here. So Pauline's saying, Susan, you cannot use your bus pass on the Downs Breezer bus. Your son tried to use his disabled bus pass on the Downs Breezer bus and was told no, he couldn't use it, so he had to pay cash instead. Oh dear, so that's told us we can't use it. Did the Gate Cafe have lots of people pop in and support them today? I wasn't in there for very long, Tracy. So there were people coming in, and there were people coming in for ice creams while I was there. I don't think there weren't many people sitting in the cafe, but I think they probably had a steady stream of people coming in for ice creams. But of course, Ronan was at the bus. And his staff and his wife were in the cafe, and Ronan he's Isle of Wight bars. He had a bar in the bus. So I didn't get in the bus. When I got there, when I got to the bus, I couldn't see Ronan. He said he'd be at the bus, and I couldn't see him. So I called into the bus because it was an old-fashioned bus, and it was a big step up, not like the Southern Vectis who lower the bus floor down for me to get on. I would have had to step up, and I didn't want to. I would have had to leave Navy Nor out, and she was in danger of rolling away because it's a bit of a slope there. And so I called out, and no answer came. But there was a lady just by the wall, and she said, "Oh, Ronan's just gone inside. He'll probably be out again in a minute." And he was out a few minutes later. So yes, so I think. I could see, although I didn't go back to the bus, which I should have done because then you would have seen me. I could see from where I was further up that they'd got the tables and chairs, and there were quite a lot of people sitting there by the bus. So it looked like they were probably doing a very good trade over there, which was lovely. So it was just really nice. I mean, Freshwater Bay is beautiful. I remember years ago I knew people who owned I think it was the Sandpiper Hotel, but I think that's where the car park is now, isn't it? I think they demolished the Sandpiper Hotel, and I was thinking that as I was going along today. Yeah, so Tracy's saying hope they did well, as these are the businesses that need to do well on days like today. Yes, because also Ronan's the levy payer. We won't mention the swear word again. But they need all the trade. Our small businesses need all the trade that they can get, and they work so hard for their money. These the small hotels, the small cafes and things on the island, the ones who are paying this dreadful tax that we're not going to talk about. So we're not going to end on a negative. We're going to end on a high. I do need to go in a minute. I think I need to wind down. I think I might just watch some sort of little quiz show on the TV. I do love the quiz shows. I like The Bridge of Lies. I like Pointless. I like Mastermind's a bit highbrow for me. I don't usually know the answers on Mastermind, but I like to, I do like to see it. The Chase, all of those, I love them. The Finishing Post. Good morning, Hazel. Hazel's just arrived in the house. Lovely to have you in here, Hazel. And you know what I'm going to say, don't you? We're nearly finishing, but we've had a lot of chat today, Hazel. I've had a very busy week, and so if you want to see how busy my week has been, watch the replay. But lovely to have you here. So what's Tracy saying? She likes the 1%. You like the 1% club? What's the 1% club? Tracy, I don't know what the 1% club is. Maybe you would like to enlighten me. And I'm surprised you're still awake after all your walking today. I wouldn't have minded if you'd fallen asleep. So, but anyway, Hazel, how is it? How is it over there on your side of the world? My brother and my sister-in-law are coming to us. Oh, sorry, they're going to Australia. So from here, I would say they're going, but they're coming over to Australia for just. I think it's about 80 something days. I think you're allowed to go for 90 days, aren't you, on a visa? They're going for just under 90 days. They're coming out at just before Christmas, and of course they've got both their sons are in Australia now. One was in Taiwan, and with his wife and his baby, and they're all now in Australia. So all my nephews and their wives and their babies are all in Australia. But with the wonderful power of social media, it's amazing because we don't miss out on them growing up, although we're not there personally. But of course, my brother, he doesn't get to see his boys and their partners and the grandchildren very much. So they're going to have a wonderful time. They were telling me the itinerary of what they were doing, and then they're also going to see my uncle. Our uncle and auntie are in their 90s, and he's going to go to them as the final part of his trip. But thank you. Yes, you'll catch up on the replay. Excellent, Hazel. So lovely to be here. Oh yes, and happy Mother's Day. Yes, I knew it was Mother's Day in Australia because our WhatsApp group has been filled with everybody wishing the mummies over in Australia happy Mother's Day. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. It was Mother's Day yesterday, and you had a lovely weekend with your son. Oh, that's amazing! Excellent. I'm glad that you had a lovely weekend, and that's nice. So and of course over here in the UK we've got Father's Day coming up, and I have. Let me show you. I'm just going to go over here and get something. Whoops! Some of you might know what I'm doing, but Father's Day. My dad died just before Father's Day in 2010, and it's so funny because I didn't always remember to get him didn't always get him a card on time. I was a bit naughty and that, but that year I bought him a card and a little gift, but I never got to give them to him. So I keep them here as a wonderful reminder. So and now I make cards like this, but that was the card. Look, happy Father. He died just before. He died on the Tuesday before Father's Day. But perhaps I would get a card, but perhaps I wouldn't always get it, a few days in advance. Usually I got it very last minute, because I'm a last minute Lil. And this was the card I bought my dad. you know. And that's, as I say, that sort of is a sort of lovely card I like to make now. And that was so I keep it just to remind myself of my dad. Not that I need to, but it is a lovely reminder. And then this was the plaque that I got him to go on the wall. And it says, I smile because you're my dad. I laugh because there's nothing you can do about it. And then it says the best dad on there. And he was the best dad, but you know, some of you will probably say your dad was the best dad. That's all. You know, we all have our favourites, don't we? And that's okay because we're allowed to. Tracy says comedy legend Lee Mack hosts the quiz show. The one, oh, I haven't. I don't know about that, Tracy. I'll have to look up. Is it on? Would I get it on iPlayer, where the questions have nothing to do with remembering little known facts, endless reams of dates, or obscure quiz trivia? Oh, I like it already. As instead they are all about applying logic, reasoning skills, and common sense. Oops, hang on. Wait a minute, it's jumped. Let's see. Obscure quiz trivia, as instead they're all about applying logic, reasoning skills, and common sense. The show begins with 100 contestants who are then whittled down as they compete to make it to the end and answer a question only 1% of the country can get right. In hopes of winning up to £100,000, a quiz that the whole family can, and it's disappeared. Hang on. I think she probably meant can, or a quiz that the whole family can join in on. I expect that's what she meant. Susan says her dad died just before Father's Day in 2005. He was in Canada on holiday with my mum and was taken seriously ill on the 8th of April. And you flew out urgently to be with them, and he sadly passed on the 7th of June. I'm sorry to hear that, Susan. I was very lucky. I was almost 60 before I lost my dad, so I do really appreciate that I had my dad so long, especially as my friend at school and my sister's friend when we were at school, they both lost their dads within quick succession of each other when they were in their 50s, you know. So I was so lucky to have my dad. My dad died when he was 89. My mum died when she was 95 or 96. One of my grands was 90 something, and my other grand was 89 when they died. My grandfather, though, or my mum's dad, I didn't know him very well. I was 8 when he died. He died at 59, I think, but he was a very, very heavy smoker, and maybe I suppose that's what contributed. I don't know, but and my dad's dad, I never knew. So he did. I don't know much about him. He was a tailor. I know he was a tailor, but not his name. His name wasn't Taylor. His name was Redding. That's my maiden name. But he was a tailor. You know, he used to make suits, that sort of tailor. So, so Tracy's saying, watch it, Lynn, you will like it. I thought you were telling me to watch it, not that sort of watching. You'll have to watch one after the broadcast and let me know what you think. Oh, yes. So it's on ITV. Oh, I'll see if I can find it. The one I've never heard of it. I actually don't watch much ITV. I find so much on BBC to watch, and I watch most things on iPlayer. I do like to watch Morning Live if I'm around in the house. When Morning Live is on, I watch it live. But if I don't, I do try and watch it. I find there's so many good things on there, and they come up with the scam things and all those sorts of things. And then I do watch some of the scam programs so that I'm a bit more aware, you know, of. And I do get things. I mean, I keep getting messages where you have to, you know, oh, we need you to press this link. And the last thing I'm going to do is press that link because I know you're telling me fibs. And I had, I keep getting people tell me I'm violating the Facebook rules, you know, and they give me all this blurb, and it's just one of those old scammers who think that if I push this button, they can take control or something. I'm not going to fall for it. But they are so clever, these scammers. So I can understand how people do get caught. And of course, I thought somebody was scamming me when somebody told me I'd won the £50 Boots voucher. And the thing was that was that was before Christmas. I know some of you know the story, but some of you won't. So before Christmas, you know, and I'm always telling you about how wonderful my cashback system is and how much cashback I get on things. before Christmas, there was the top cashback page, Facebook page, said share this page with your friends, and somebody's going to win a £50 voucher. So of course I shared it, but there's nothing to stop other people watching what we're doing and then get in touch with you and say, oh, you've won £50. Click here. And so when I got the message that I'd won £50, I didn't click there because I was so suspicious of watching all these scam programs. And I thought, well, I don't know, it could be somebody messing about. But on the other hand, I didn't want to miss out on £50 if it was genuine. So I contacted Top Cashback another way, not through Facebook. I found another way to contact them, and the message came back, yes, that is so and so, that's from our customer care department, and yes, you have won the prize and it's genuine. And so of course then I won the prize, so I didn't have to pay for the prize. You know, it was a £50 voucher. And then when I went to use it, as some of you will know, Boots had this fantastic offer if you spent £60. So I thought, well, I'll put the £10 to it, because also the extra 10, I got a Top Cashback gift card on which I got cashback on the £10. And then when I used the gift card to buy the Boots stuff, I got top cashback on the whole lot, because I was making a purchase from Boots, and I didn't matter that I was using a gift card. Because I was buying stuff, I got cash back on all of that. I was pretty pleased with all that, and all the things that I was putting in my basket. Every time I put things in the basket before I paid for it, you know, if I put this in and then I put this in, oh, that gave me extra discount, and I was getting so much. I put a hairdryer in first that was £10 something, but when it went in the basket, it became £9 something. I know. Not only that, but it was the day I did it in the morning, because they had Boots had this thing going on where it was, if you did it in the morning, you got it had to be £60 order, but it was on a sliding scale of bonus points, you know, extra points on my loyalty card. And I know that by the time I finished all this transaction, I'd got another £7 of loyalty £7 worth of loyalty points on my Advantage card, which I haven't spent yet, and then also cash back on the thing. So the £10 I paid extra, actually a lot of that came back to me. So it was pretty good. So your granddad's birthday would have been yesterday, and he would have been 100. He passed away 6 days before his 65th birthday. Oh, bless. But don't we always remember, you know, I hope that you remember all those lovely happy memories when we get to the dates. You know, that's what I chose to do, rather than do doom and gloom. I think I go back. I mean, I'm always remembering my dad anyway. I think my dad's food. This is my dad. This is my dad. And I always, you know, there are so many things that remind me of him. Sometimes when I'm walking down the road, when the time is right, as I go round the corner to the next road where I go to the bus stop, there's a privet hedge, and the smell reminds me of my dad, because he used to tend the privet hedges that we had when we were growing up. So it's things like that. There's so many senses that jerk the memories, and the privet hedge is one of them. If I see ferns, not that I see many ferns these days, but I did see one in my Facebook time hop the other day. You know, it came up in the memories, and I saw a picture of ferns, and when it was in my memories, I'd obviously taken a picture somewhere, and I'd put that it reminded me of my dad, because in the house that we grew up in, so we moved. I was born at home in a little 2-bedroom house in Greenford, and I was the second of 4 children. By the time my brother, David, came along, so my first brother, the house was too small. So we moved, and Mum and Dad managed to scrape every penny they possibly could, and they bought a 14-room house in Ealing. So we went from Greenford to Ealing, and it took every possible penny and everything that they could find, and they did it just before the house prices started to move. They were so incredibly lucky, and then so we ended up living in this 14-room house. That's an awful lot of housework, isn't it? 14 rooms, but it was lovely. Night, Steve. I know it's getting late, and I have been rattling on a long time. Enjoy the weather this week. It's going to be glorious. Do you know, I'd heard a message that there was going to be thundery showers today, but I think it was more over to the West Country, I think. So yes, so things, just lots of lovely memories all the time, so many things. And then certain phrases come up, don't they? Phrases remind me of my family, and different things that go on. There's some silly phrases that come out of things we've watched on TV, and I remember my dad, that I told you this one before, the Master Spy, lean forward, Master Spy, and that was just so funny. It just makes me laugh even now, because it was one of those crazy children's programs. And I don't know that you'd be able to do this now, but Master Spy was enormous, and you're not supposed to do these things now, make out that people are big or whatever. And the guy with him was skinny, and somehow, I don't know how it happens, but it's a cartoon thing, and I think it was cartoon. Yes, yes, it was. And somehow their car ended up being lifted up, and it was put on the top of a spire, a church spire. So that's why Master, the things we laugh at. That's why Master Spy had to lean forward, because the car was leaning backwards. So if you lean forward, it would go this way. Oh, lean backwards, Master Spy. I don't ever remember how they ever got down, or whether they fell down or what. All I remember is this silly bit of the program, and then my dad always remembering and often quoting it. And we had 2 or 3 things like that, totally random things that my dad would just come out with, but it just felt funny. So Tracy's saying she has a tape recording of her and her granddad mucking about, and your nan telling him on the tape that he was making you idle. That is making you idle. That is a saying you've not heard for years. I love listening to the fun we had. Yes, it's wonderful, isn't it? That was the day when you made tape recording. Absolutely, yes, I can remember making, having tapes. And funnily enough, I've got a whole pile of cassettes that I'm just about, a lot of cassettes that were things I used in school. So they were songs for children. But who has cassette recorders these days? But there will be some people have cassette recorders, so I'm going to donate them to charity, because that will be a lucky find for somebody. But as I was moving them to put them with all the stuff that I'm gathering up to go to the charity shop, I remembered that we'd got some tapes, and one of the ones that I would love to, I don't even know where it is. It's probably still here. And if it is, I would love to have it transferred if I can. But it's in my head, so it's here. And it was the tape recordings that my husband made when he announced the birth of my first child to my family. And my mum, she clearly didn't like the name Toby, but not that not that I listened to my mum when it was things like that, because it was my child and it was what I wanted to call him. But I call my son Toby. He's not a Tobias, he's a Toby. And she obviously didn't like it. And she was a bit like that, my mum. And she said, "Oh, Toby Jug." She started calling things like Toby Jug. So I got the better of her, because I thought, you're not going to keep doing that to me, mum. That's not okay. And so my brother, sadly the one who took his life, he was Graham. And so I started calling him Gray, because I knew she wouldn't like it. And as soon as I started calling him Gray, she stopped making fun of my son's name. So you know, you had to do things like that with my mum because she was just like that. She wasn't the same soft touch that my dad was. But you know, we still had a happy childhood, but mum and I did clash because we were very alike. She wouldn't stand for the things, you know. When I stood up to her, she would not have stood up. She would not have allowed anybody to do to her what she was trying to do to me. Is what I'm trying to say. But we still, you know, and you know, we did clash a lot, especially once I started saying, "Mum, I am my own person. I'm a grown up now, and I make my own decisions," and you know, it just how it was. But I wasn't going to, you know, spend my whole adult life doing what mummy said. So, you know, but my lasting memory, the last time that I had with my mum, it was very happy. There were a lot of happy times, but there were difficult times too. And I'm not going to, you know, pretend there weren't. But but the lasting memory I've got, it came up in my time hop again the other day, and I actually reposted it on my page, and it's a wonderful picture of my mum. It was during COVID, and it's when you were allowed to go and see people in their gardens, but you couldn't go inside. And my mum, I invited my mum to my garden. I just done all those pots. I just made it look beautiful because that's what I did for live streams when I couldn't live stream the carnivals and things, and people still wanted me to live stream. I made the garden. I did all those wonderful pots, and my mum came. Well, my brother brought my mum round, and she arrived, and she looked like she belonged in the garden because she was in purples and pinks, and a lot of my flowers were purples and pinks in the garden, and it was just wonderful. And so this is a really happy memory, and this is the last time that I really spent time with her, and so it was a very lovely lasting memory. And so she just blended with the flower. I mean, she looks so beautiful. She's got a great big sun hat on, and then these lovely pinks and purple clothes, and she sat in the garden, and I invited her around, said, "Come and sit in the garden," because this used to be her. You know, she used to own this flat, and I just thought she'd love to see what I'd done with the garden, and I said, "Oh, I'll make you some lunch. I'll make this cheesy mash, all right? Because I'm not a great cook. I mean, I'm a better cook now. I've been doing Slimming World than ever I was in all the years before. But I just for ease, because I've got to do food up and then take it down to the garden because I live, you know, up the stairs. And I made cheesy mash with peas, and I made some banana bread, and I was making ice cream, and I got some ice cream lolly molds, you know, to make things. Was making ice creams that were like magnums with chocolate on the outside. And to be honest, you know, I just loved it. I made the banana bread and I did that. And you know what? I took that down to my mum, and you would have thought that I'd given her a royal banquet. She was so grateful, you know, for having all the difficulty that we'd had between us because we were both strong-minded ladies. And it was just so warm. It warmed the cockles of my heart that right at the end of her life, she actually wrote a beautiful letter to me. I don't know where it is. I don't know whether it's still here. I've got boxes of papers to go through, and it might be here. But again, it's in my head. She wrote me the most beautiful letter. And as I say, you would have thought I had given her a royal banquet. It was cheesy mash, mashed potato with cheese and potatoes in. She thought it was marvellous. She thought the banana bread was marvellous, and she absolutely loved the ice cream. So, you know, that is really, it was nice to end on that sort of situation, because, you know, it hadn't always been that easy, but it was just lovely then. So that was good. Right. What has Tracy written here? Whoops, hang on. I didn't want to. No, wait a minute. I touched a button. Whoops. That's me and Seb. We are so alike that we clash, but we have got closer since Seb has moved out. But living together, we clashed bad. but he always knew he could come to me when there was an issue. But funny thing is, we may have had a difference through the day. We always said love you and gave each other a kiss goodnight. And even now we chat on the phone every day. And when we end the call or when we leave each other, we still end with love you. And you know what? That's what my kids always tell me that. And, you know, I reciprocate. But it's just they usually make the move first. They usually say, love you, Mum. And I got a call from Toby this week, and he's not always been well, I perhaps shouldn't say this, but you know, he's not always been necessarily the first one to ring, and he just rang me just because, and it was just wonderful. And you know, also they're actually moving house, and they're in such a lucky position. They have a small house that's brilliant for first time buyers. And he said, oh, Mum, within 2 minutes, somebody wanted to view it. And then he says, oh, we've got 25 viewings. Then he said, oh, my goodness, we've got 29. Now he's corrected, they've got 36 viewings. They're not doing the viewings. the estate agents do it. They're going out for when all the viewings are being done. But, you know, isn't that wonderful that the estate agent said they would sell it very quickly, which will put them in a marvellous position for when they want to buy. So I'm well pleased with that for him. I don't know how many more before viewing day comes, but anyway, that's just wonderful news. So yes, for first-time buyers, and there's a shortage of houses, and there's there's people who want to buy. So great position. You know, it's not always the way, is it? My movings were mostly very stressful. I won't go there now. But yes, but it's lovely to have that lovely relationship with your family. And you know, I always believe too that you should never go to sleep on an argument. You know, my second husband was not that easy. He was quite difficult, and he would go to sleep on an argument. I never wanted to go to sleep on an argument, but it wasn't always easy. Anyway, I'm happily single now. And on that note, I am actually going to go and find this quiz show that you're telling me about. And I'm looking at my clock and thinking I was that time. I've got a clock up here that's not been forwarded since the clocks went forward. I've got a clock in the other room that's not been forwarded since the clocks went forward. John, Kath and John used to come round, and every time we had a change of hour, he would do the clocks for me because he could get up there, but I can't get up there. So I'm going to have to find somebody who will actually get up and change the clocks, because I have to keep remembering that they're not showing the right time. So there we go. So she's, you know, we have been away last week, and Stephen and Seb stayed here, and I didn't realise they hadn't gone, and both of them called us via WhatsApp or Messenger every day just because. It was lovely. Oh, how nice! I didn't realise that they had not all gone together, but that's lovely. You'll get Stephen to do the clocks tomorrow. Oh, that's excellent. Tracy, do you know, just as I said, oh, I can't do the clocks, I remembered you were coming round, and I thought, oh, I wonder. And as you know, it's not a great idea for me to go climbing, because, of course, earlier in this broadcast, told you I climbed and I slid on the floor. So I'm not even going to attempt anything like that. But if you can, you can. If you can't, you can't. It's all right. So anyway, on that note, and we've been quite a nice time here. 2.5 hours we've been on tonight. I feel very relaxed. I've had a wonderful week, you know, a real buzzy week, buzzy and busy. I've got a few things going on this week, mostly going and having coffee mornings and things like that. Tomorrow is a home day. I'm going to rest. Well, I'm supposed to be tidying up because I'm always getting in a mess. I tidy and then I get in a mess. So I'm supposed to be doing some tidying, but I'm not going to kill myself. But if it's messy, Tracy, when you get here, sorry about that. I'll make enough space so that you can do the clocks. But you know, it is what I just can I try so hard to be tidy, and then I'm always doing things and always making it untidy again. But it's not going to change anytime soon, is it? I'm 74 and I've always been like that. So I don't see me ever getting. I try very hard, but as my dad would have said, yes, you're very trying. Another one of those phrases. You see, it just pops out. Anyway, I think that some of you might need to be going to bed before I might be keeping you up. So I am going to go. And my throat's actually just getting a bit dry. So I think I really should stop talking. Think you're still running on adrenaline. Yes, I bet you are, Tracy. I bet that was just so amazing. And hopefully we can get you a bit more in sponsorship money. That would be wonderful as well. So I've got my contribution to put in. I mean, I haven't got a vast fortune, but every little helps, of course, doesn't it? So I will do that in due course. But for now, I'm just looking at the screen there and looking. Oh, there's the picture of me with. I don't know if I can turn it around. Can I? Oh no, I won't. What I'll do. There's the picture of me with the monkey. I can see, so I will put it up on my Facebook page at some stage. I know if I turn this camera around, I might end up collapsing the whole lot, so perhaps I better not do that. Night, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. You thought you'd be asleep well before now. Yeah, no. When you're running on adrenaline, it's very difficult. So I hope you haven't got to get up too early tomorrow. So, you know, I'll see you when I see you, and have a good night's sleep. And I hope you're not walking in your, thinking about walking in your sleep. But it was an amazing day. I just can't get over how many people do that year in and year out. It's amazing, and bless you for doing it. I there's no way I could do that. But anyway, I'm going to go because I keep saying I'm going to go, and I do that. I say I'm going to go, and then I don't go, and I chatter on, and another hour goes by. Night, everybody. See you all soon. I will do some more live streaming probably this week. Various things, because I'm now up for doing more live streaming in the day possibly, and then I will, all being well, next Sunday I will still be here, so I will do that. Your message when you leave. Okay, people were walking up Tennyson with buggies. Oh my goodness, I don't know how they did that. I couldn't have got up with my Navy Nora. I think I'd have probably, I probably ended up running backwards down. It was difficult on that bit of grass where the school thing started, and of course I had to go across the grass to go to the temporary toilets before I realised there were actually toilets down on the path. I didn't have to do it. Anyway, that's not getting me off the screen, is it? Night, everybody. See you soon. Take care. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week, God willing, and all being well. Bye.